Good morning to everyone. Welcome to this live event about a smart robotic investment strategy for SMEs. My name is Fernando Vaquerizo. I'm a product manager responsible for fixed and collaborative robots for Omron Europe. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I've been working in a couple of companies before working in Omron, but last 25 years, I've been working in Omron. So my experience is mainly motion control and robotics. And last almost 7 years, I've been working as a product marketing manager for robotics in Europe. It's a pleasure to be here today with you all. And I'm here with my colleague, Peter Lange.
Welcome everybody to our live event. My name is Peter Lange. I'm the business development manager for the area of fixed robotics at Omron Europe. I joined Omron in 2015 with the acquisition of Adept, and I joined Adept in 2001, was working in several departments, service, application, and finally also being the application team leader. Before I joined Omron, so in total, I have more than 20 years experiences in robotics.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for being here today with me. Taking the advantage that you are a robotic expert, I want to answer some questions for you. Probably during these last 20-25 years, you have seen different tendencies in the market of robotics. But now what is clear is that the integration of robots is more and more common. And this is something that, it's happening also for the SMEs, no? A small and medium enterprise, small and medium companies. So why do you think that more and more the SMEs are starting to integrate robots in their production lines?
We all know, and we hear it every day in the news, we can read it in the newspaper, that we already face some issues and we will face more issues in the future that are called labor shortage, talent shortage. So as an example, in Q1 this year, 2.9% of all job vacancies were unfilled. At the same time, there's a big request for a local production. The pandemic taught us also to have a more local production. And also in the past, we talked about a stable quality, improving quality. I want to call it a little bit different. Let's take a look at sustainability, having a sustainable production, which includes the improvement of quality, reduction of waste, reduction of unnecessary transportation because of bad quality. So there are a lot of topics in general that we need to address. Looking at the SMEs, SMEs are small companies with less than 250 employees and the maximum turnover of 50 million euros per year. These SMEs are the backbone of our economy in Europe. So in total, we have 23 million companies in Europe that are SMEs, and we have 84 million people working at the SMEs. So they represent about 99% of all our business. So in general, we have a lot of customers. We face a lot of issues already, also in the future. And automation at the end can help to solve these issues. Robotics can be part of an automation because robotics provide a huge flexibility to an automation, and also robotics become more and more easier to be integrated at the customer. And these are many reasons why SMEs are forced to look into automation and also into automation with robotics.
Thank you, Peter. No, I fully agree. I think that especially this topic about that the SMEs are the backbone of our economy, it's a fact. And we, as robot suppliers, we need to guide them, to help them, to integrate robots, to automate, because it's the only way for successful. That's clear. But I have more questions for you, Peter, today. Next question is, what do you think? What are the top challenges that the SMEs they are going to face when they want to start automating or robotizing, let's say?
Yeah. I think there are also several points to address how to look for automation. The first one is focus on suitable application scenarios and slowly scale up. What does it mean? It means to understand in the current production today, to understand where the customer loses money every hour, every day in the production. At the same time, for the automation, if someone starts to automate the processes, concentrate on simple tasks, and at the same time, rethink the processes that are already available in the production today, because maybe these are not one-to-one applicable with an automated production. So handmade production can be different from automated production, and maybe they have to do both together, handmade and automated production. For this is the second point: use robots where they can best support employees. First of all, robots are not an enemy for the operator. They need to be the colleague who helps and supports the operator. How robots can do this? Robots work very repetitive and precise. So that's what I can use them for. They can fulfill repetitive tasks, boring tasks, to take over responsibilities from the operator, like transportation. An operator should not be the person who is transporting goods in a factory. Therefore, I can use mobile robots, for example. Other tasks that are really simple and repetitive are, for example, material handling, packaging, palletizing. Important is it also to get the employees on board and specialize. Robotic is a new technology for many employees, and they need to get involved in the complete process. Not only when the automation is already there, already from the beginning, because how to automate the process, what to do, is something we can only learn from the employee. And at the end, the employees and the operators are the most important resource in our production, with their knowledge, with their specialization, and at the end, the operator, their job will change, maybe from a machine operator to a robot operator. So this is like a journey where I have to get everybody on board from the beginning. Last point, of course, automation needs to be integrated, and therefore I have to rely on experienced partners, because to automate processes means hardware development, software development, CE declaration, and therefore the best is to involve experienced system integrator, and maybe also Omron as a local partner and support, and we can provide support through all the phases of the automation to our system integrator and also to the end user.
Okay, Peter. No, I fully agree. I want to highlight a couple of things that you already mentioned. One is that we need to rethink the process. We need to look at the probably manual task, because probably they are very easy to automate, not for all the cases, of course, but in some cases it's very easy to, for instance, you mentioned palletizing. So every material handling task that we do, probably we can use a robot, a cobot, or a fixed robot. And I think this is important because we know that around 70% of the time on the production line is dedicated just to move parts from one place to another. So these are repetitive tasks, and this is not good for the health of the operator.
Yeah.
And also, I want to highlight this topic that you mentioned. No? The operator needs to understand that the robot is not the enemy. It's just a friend. It's going to help for this repetitive task, and the operator can take care of more advanced tasks, let's say. So these topics are very important. So thank you, Peter, for the explanation. And one thing that I want to ask you also is, what is the route about the integration? What are the, let's say, the steps to follow when SME want to integrate robots in their production plant?
Yeah, there's a goal for the automation, and the automation needs to be accepted by the end user. And if I talk about the end user, then I really talk about the operator in the production. They need to be familiar with the new technology, with the new way of production, with the new way of processes. This is really a key, and this is where we have to get to. And maybe we can we can define a little bit of a route plan. As we already agreed, review and rethink current processes, how to relieve the operator from unnecessary tasks like material handling, material transportation, palletizing, machine operation, and make the operator available for other advanced tasks. Let me give you an example also to look a little bit more into health protection of our employees. Let's take the example of palletizing. Palletizing 5 boxes per minute. Every box has a weight of 10 kilograms. This means that the operator is manipulating 3,000 kilograms of boxes per hour in 8 hours. So a normal shift, these are 24 tons. And this is a task that can easily be done by a robot, by a cobot, by a palletizing station. So this is really the tasks that need to be identified for automation. There are maybe others, welding, machine tending applications that really can be used to be automated in the near future. Then it is very, very important to involve all departments, not, as I pick up the operator from the beginning. That's very important. Maybe also to include the safety department. With mobile robots, with collaborative robots, the view on safety will maybe change. So that's where we need to also to involve the safety department, the IT department, because maybe we need an IT infrastructure. And also in some countries in Europe, we will have a workers' council. So we need to get all the departments from the beginning involved into the process to rethink the production, how to automate the production. And then we are at the point when the task is identified to go really through the steps of the project, which should start with a proof of concept, really to prove the concept, to check the feasibility of the application of the automation. There will be the investment process, very important, the trainings process, and also finally the integration by the system integrator, by the machine builder. This is really the route plan. So really identify the task, then check if this is feasible, the investment plan, and really to start with training all people that need to be involved from the beginning.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for this clear explanation. And one topic that is related to my last question is you mentioned finance, no? The investment. This is a very, very important part for the SMEs. So in terms of finance, since this is a big topic for them, and I think for every country, for every company, of course, what kind of tips would you give them in terms of financing? What do you think? Is it better? Is In other words, buying or leasing? What do you think?
Yeah. Of course, at some point, everybody wants to know, if I start to automate, what is the price of this? What do I have to pay? How do I have to pay? And we know that many companies, even if they already know that they want to automate, they fear that the automation, especially with robotics, will be very, very expensive. Maybe we have to rethink a little bit. Of course, to really to install an automation is an investment. Is an investment in the company. Is an investment also into the employees of the company. And this big investment, if we maybe calculate it a little bit different, can be much smaller and look totally different if we see it per product. I want to take my example with this boxes palletizing. So if we thought about 5 boxes per minute, these are 300 boxes per hour. Let's assume 2 shifts per day, 5 days per week, 50 weeks per year. Then the operator in this factory will manipulate 1.2 million boxes per year from one position to another one. So if we think about a palletizing, automated palletizing station for about 100,000 euros, then if we calculate this only for 1 year, then we are at the price of 8.33 euro cent per box only. If we see it for 2 years, then we are at 4.15 euro cent per box. So we see that this is only a rough calculation, not taking into account power consumption, air pressure, and so on. But it's also not taking into account that I win an operator or I win several operators that can do other tasks in my factory. So that's where I see this is just a simple calculation per product. Of course, it can be still a big investment, and maybe SMEs don't want to invest this huge amount of money at once, and their leasing, of course, is an alternative. Leasing, paying the automation monthly over a time frame of maybe up to 5 years, and it offers at the end a high flexibility. Leasing contract can also include service, maintenance, so that at the end there are no additional costs for the service and maintenance. And service and maintenance of an automation are very, very important, because at the end, the most expensive automation is an automation that it is not working in the production that I cannot use. So this is there, of course, leasing. And I don't talk only about leasing only the robot, only the gripper or the robot and the gripper. No, leasing the complete solution, including robotics, peripherals, stations, safety, and everything, is a nice option for SMEs really to invest into automation, to have a monthly fee to pay instead of a bigger investment at once.
Okay.
But financing really is a big topic, and you know, this is really even if we can convince a customer from the technical point of view, there will be the question: how much money do I have to spend? What is the best option? Can you help me a little bit? Is there something available? There are tools available how I can evaluate the investment.
Yes, Peter. Yeah, one of the key topics is, or one of the KPIs, let's say, to decide if go or no go with one investment is the return of investment, no? And this is something that from Omron we are working on. So basically, for mobile robots and for cobots, and in the future also for other robots, we have prepared what we call a ROI calculator, no? Return on investment calculator. And let me show you a little bit what we are doing, no? First, we look at the market, and then what we saw at the market is that there are some existing ROI calculators, but some of them are very advanced. You have to enter too many parameters, and it's very complex. So sometimes even the parameter that you have to enter, it's something that is impossible to know for the SME. So then this is not a valid solution in our opinion. Others are too simple, and in the end you are missing some data, you are missing information, or you do not have the freedom to input all the possible costs or gains associated to the investment, and this is not good. And also something that we saw, or we realized, is that there is not a connection between the ROI calculator and the finance options. So this is why from Omron we decided to release a calculator that is very, very easy to use, but it's very powerful. I promise. I will show it to you one example now. It's including the financial options. It's including KPIs. So on that way, in just a few seconds, you can see, or the customer can see, if the investment is worthwhile or not. It's available, of course, in our website. And in the end, the target is to help customers to accelerate the decision-making process. Because in the end, for me, there is one thing that is clear, is that if you are thinking about automating something, start today. Do not wait until tomorrow. You start today, because you will start to save money from today. So let me show you a very simple example. No? Basically, the Omron ROI calculator is divided in 3 steps. The first one is the existing process. So you need to enter data about the labor cost and other costs associated, for instance, the salaries of the people, etc. So we are talking here about the existing process without the robots, without the investment. In a second step is the new process. So now you have one robot or 2 or 3, or you have mobile robots, you have cobots, whatever. And then you have, of course, you have a cost that is associated to the robot. You have a labor cost that probably has been reduced. So this is an example. You can see here 3 people. Here is just 1 person. No? So it's because probably the robot will take care, or will improve the quality, will improve the performance of the production line. So the labor cost probably will decrease, and gains and savings thanks to the new installation with robots. And in a third step is the project, the decision. It's some KPIs like the payback, the ROI, the net present value, that I think that in just a few seconds you can see, or you can decide to go or not go for the investment. Very, very quickly, if you go to our website, you will see the ROI calculator. You will enter the current process in a first step. So it's very simple. It's just the employees in one shift, the number of shifts, the annual cost per employee. This is salary, benefits, taxes, or whatever, and other annual costs associated. Then you click in continue to next step, and you have to enter the data of the robot system. So now you have, for instance, I select one cobot, for instance, and you have to put the robot running cost. Here it's 0, but here we have to include, for instance, the maintenance, the service, etc. This cost associated to the robot, the robot system gain saving, the system integrator cost, that maybe it will depend on the application. Maybe it's 10,000 euros or 20,000 euros, or whatever. And then percentually, you put here the employees in one shift. So maybe before you had 2 employees, now you only need 1 employee, so 50%. And the number of shifts per day. Maybe you have 3 shifts. Now you can do the job in 2 shifts. I don't know. It will depend on the application. Then you have to enter some data with your name, telephone number, and especially important, the email. And then you will receive in your email the results. And just clicking in this link, you get these very easy to understand results. So the KPIs, the payback. So this is the time that you need to recover your initial investment. This is the return on investment percentually. And this is the value, the net present value, that is the value, the money that you are saving in a period of 5 years. And you can see the results in CapEx or in leasing. So it's linked to the different finance options. With CapEx, you are doing a big investment in the beginning, so you have to pay for the robots or whatever, for the automation. And in leasing, you have a period of 60 months where you pay every month a fee, but you don't need an initial investment. And this is the ROI calculator of Omron. It's very simple, and I think it's very useful for the SME to take a quick decision about go or not go with a project where we have robots involved. You can scan the QR code if you like to access to the ROI calculator of Omron, or you can visit, of course, our website, and you can go access directly to the ROI calculator.
Okay. Thank you for showing and presenting this return on invest calculator. I think it's a nice tool that can really help to check the investment, and finally, or not the investment, but the return on the investment. And many people and many companies will see that the return is much faster than they expect it maybe today.
Okay. Now, Peter, it's time for questions and answers. I see one question about the warranty. Very quickly, just to explain that what is the warranty about our cobots? Well, we provide 12 months of warranty plus 12 additional months if you register the robot. That is something, it's one of the services that we provide. So it's very simple, very quickly. So we can say that we provide 24 months of warranty in our robots.
Okay. I also see a question here. How would you recommend that companies start with a proof of concept? Would you take it, or should I answer it? What do you think?
It's well, I can explain that we have innovation labs around Europe. We have at this moment, I think we have almost one per country. And in this innovation lab, before going ahead with a project, we do a proof of concept with the real materials. So we get samples from the customer, we prepare a proof of concept, and we prepare a technical report or a video, or sometimes even we can invite the customer to come to the innovation lab. And in the lab, we can show the customer how to manage the application and what is the outcome and the solution. Yeah.
Okay. I see here a question. Cobots are now being used as industrial robots due to its lower price and safety guards due to be unnecessary. Do you consider this reality or just popular access and error? We also see this, and maybe we have to differentiate here a little bit. There are big companies, and for big companies, maybe it's a strategic decision to go with cobots because of the flexibility of the cobots. It's easier to bring them into a new process. They can they don't have to rely on the system integrators. They can do the integrations themselves. This is not what we want to talk here about. We talk about SMEs, to wake up the SMEs for new installations. There we much more see especially the cobots as the helping colleague that can do the ugly job, the boring job, where we are. And of course, the integration will be much easier than with standard industrial robots. But we as Omron, we have also industrial robots in our portfolio, and they are still needed for high precision, high speed processes. So I think in general, there is place for all the robot types. for the fast industrial robots, for Scala robots, Delta robots, articulated robots, but also there's a place for cobots in many, many applications where they can help to make the life of the operator, of the people in the production easier, more healthy, to make sure that they have a better work-life balance. This is where I see cobots to be used.
Okay, Peter, thank you. There is also one of the colleagues is saying that he has used the robot, the ROI Calculator of Omron, and it's a very agile and very useful tool. So thank you for this kind of feedback. It's very useful for us. Thank you very much. So let me see.
Yeah. There's a question about information and how automation and robotics can help with sustainability. There are different aspects on sustainability. First of all, automation can maybe help to produce the products, mainly the packaging, with different materials, with thinner materials. For example, a much thinner foil than before. This is one part. For robotics, mainly, but what we can see is with robotics, we can increase the quality. We can make sure that the quality is stable. We can make sure that the quality is stable, even if we have different operators. Let me take the example of, for example, of welding. Using a robot, a cobot for welding, the cobot will do the welding always with the same precision, will produce the same quality. Doesn't matter who is placing the material, the parts on the welding table. But we will see that the quality differs if the customer is doing the welding with different people. So this is where we can make sure that with robotics, we can produce a stable quality, we can produce a high quality. And this, at the end, will be sustainable because we reduce the unnecessary transportation to a customer and maybe back because it's a warranty claim, because the quality was not good enough. So this is where we have to see in general sustainability on a different level with robotics. Also, there are a lot of tools around robotics, especially around the cobots available. And many of the tools are servo-driven. It means I only need power when I operate. This is totally different than using grippers with air pressure and so on, where I have to produce air pressure in my factory all the time to be available. So there are different levels how robotics and automation can provide or can help to make the production much more sustainable than it was before.
Here, Peter, there is one question about palletizing. If we can have boxes, if the boxes can have different sizes. Of course, maybe if you want to answer.
First of all, we sell components. So in general, this is a part of the system integration. But we know that our system integrator who produce palletizing solutions with our cobots, they can have different boxes in different layers of the pallet. Have really complete mixed pallets where every layer is mixed. Is from a technical point, it is possible, but it's going towards stability of the pallet and so on. So that's where most of our partners really agree. Okay, we can have different boxes by layer, but not mixed boxes on one layer.
Clear. Thank you, Peter. Well, I think it's time to close this live event. Thank you very much, Peter. Just to summarize a little bit, we were talking today about the tendency, no, for SMEs to install more and more robots. You were talking, Peter, also about the let's say the top challenge, no, that they can find in the way. Also, you explain, I think, very well what are the steps that they have to follow to implement robots, to automate. And finally, we were talking about the different options that we have from financial point of view. I think this is just the summary of what we talk about here today. So from my side, what I want to say, of course, is that if you have more questions of, in general, if you request more information about financing, about proof of concept, or even about job opportunities, because we are always hiring people, we need more and more people for the collaborative robot business. So please, you can contact your local Omron office. So thank you very much to everybody for attending this live event. Peter, thank you very much for your expertise. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, I also want to say thank you to you, Fernando, and all the participants of the live event. I hope it was a little bit helpful to get insight how to start, maybe to think about automation in non-automated processes. What are the steps our customers should follow? And as Fernando said, okay, if you have any questions, please let us know. We are available also via LinkedIn, so please send us some information, questions you have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Ciao, bye-bye.